Alright guys, so what day is it?
Hashtag hump day.
Hump day indeed. Alright. Today we're doing a little catch up on materials that either I say we get back to later or it's just about that time. First thing I want to do is boss and rib, and it's a giant apology for me because I just had my students do the interior housing of an alarm clock, and this would have been super helpful. So I'm going to make just some type of interior cavity. Offset this. That's way too much. Just give me like a 0.25, something less. Alright, I just want to close these off fast. Cool. Join those up. I'm going to do a revolve. Maybe that's not exactly the angle that I want to revolve at. No, sir. No. Let me do this. Revolve axis. Here. And I would like to go 180. There we go. Why can't we just be friends today? There we go. So I have a shell. I know I made it kind of funky. Let me rotate it so it makes sense. Alright, so I got an open cavity where if I want to drop a boss or a rib, and there's not a whole lot of difference between boss and rib. If I want to add a boss, I'm going to use a rectangle for this purpose. Put it flush with my top or close there too. And very important, boss is under the solid menu. So if most solid tweaking commands like Boolean unions, Boolean difference, it has to be a solid to start with. That doesn't apply to every case, but if you're ever in doubt why is this not working, always, if you're pulling from the solid menu, ask yourself, is it a solid in the first place? This, as we can see, is not a solid, so I'm going to ask it to cap. Does it? It does. All right, so now anything I pull from the solid command should work. So let's do boss. Close curve, check. It asked me if I want it tapered or not. I'll come back and do a taper in a second. And then the boundary that I want to extrude to. And it extrudes to my boundary. And like it would make sense in the solid menu, it's just like it booleaned. So ghosted, you can see that it didn't extrude through, it just added to. So now this is a printable solid right here, and it saves you time. You can do this by using Boolean difference or Boolean union, but you have to be careful. This saves you cleanup time. So let's go back with my, all right, and let's do boss again, but this time we're going to add a taper. Tapered, draft angle 10 is plenty. That way we have a good pull if we have a two-part mold. Draft angle of 10. Curve to boundary, do work. I missed. Extruded it too far off the edge. So let's move this so it's more compatible to the center. I don't want to embarrass myself. Alright, solid, boss. 10 degrees, very nice. There we go. So that was nice, and you can see it did all the cleanup under here for us. So if I want to zoom in, we can go inside this area, but then we're going to get confused, so let's just not do that. Like I've done. Back out, back out, back out. All right, back to normal. This is the difference between boss and rib. Boss assumes you want to have a solid surface straight to your boundary. Rib allows you to have a void in the middle. So what does that look like? It's simple. I show you. Let's put a boss on this side. I mean a rib, sorry. Copy, paste. And a rib on that side. And we'll run from our solid menu. Rib. This is going to let me check a void or add a void. So how big do I want my wall thickness to be? I'll say a quarter. And let's just do a taper now that you understand what a taper is. 5-degree angle, nothing too drastic. My curves, enter my boundary, do work. Once again, saves you from cleaning up. Colin was asking me the other day if I wanted to put a countersink in. In that event, I would set this up so most of my geometry is figured out for me. I'm going to explode, and I want to copy this surface. And then I can do some removal if I want to countersink. So my axis straight up and down. We'll cut. I want to leave that the same. Here. We'll come in and then go down. Make sure I give myself some overlap. All right, join these curves I just made. I want a 360 revolve, but I've got to find the center. Let's do that by using a point and the center command. Very nice. And then a very good excuse to use move, so I get this to the center. That to the center. I messed up. Let's try this again. This guy to the point. Let's turn on the point. There we go. So this way, when I revolve this shape, I'm not in trouble. So, surface, revolve this guy along this axis, and I want a full circle. Let's look at this over here. Is that what I wanted? It's not. That's what I wanted. Do this again. Revolve, axis, full circle. Cool. I'm going to see if it'll do Boolean split or Boolean difference. One I want to keep is my original shape. One I want to get rid of is this thing I just made. Didn't do it because one's a surface and one is a solid. So either I can take the long way around by using split the outside with the in, split the inside with the out, or hopefully just to save time, let me cap you. Cap on the top. Does not have a cap on the bottom. I'm gonna make a cap by just extruding through. It will require me to do a little work later, but I know it'll work for sure. Extrude through. Direction. Now we can do the whole split deal. Split. Yes, we have to do both. Outside with the inside. Split. Split the inside with the outside. Take away everything you don't need. Now I can join. So I have two solids. So this time when I difference, wrong menu. What I want to keep, what I want to get rid of. Still doesn't work, curse you. All right. For the interest of time, I'm just going to do the whole split thing. I'm going to split. I want to split my inside. No, not you. Split my inside with my outside. And split my outside with my inside. And start deleting the things that I don't need. It's saying it didn't split, so let's try this again. I want to split this shape with I need to come back and join my center one back up. All right, split outside, inside. Split failed. This is being more frustrating than I wish it would be. Making me look bad, but in all honesty, if you never try anything new, you're not going to get anywhere in life. So, that's my original. I'm taking the exploded shape. And I want the difference between these two, or the intersection, which I think it's already established for me. Explode. Does this guy work? Everything but the bottom, and I can split that section. Split this guy with this one. Repeat this one with this one. Take out what I don't need. There we go. And then I can move that back in. I don't think I'm totally done with it, but I'm close. So I'd have to go in here and remake the joining parts between here and my original boundary. Are there better ways to do it? Perhaps, but at least you understand an approach. And if I did it again without trying to freestyle, it'd be a lot prettier. So that takes care of boss and rib. I believe the next issue is I wanted to show you how to import text if you didn't have text, especially for you Mac users. This should be a big difference. So for some reason, this computer is loaded with fonts. But if you're not loaded with fonts, or you have a custom font that you have in the form of a vector, get up, Brock. I'll take that. That's quite intriguing. But if you don't have this option, I'm going to show you how to either take a logo or text from a vector-based program like Illustrator and drop it into Rhino so you can use it like a solid. So we got Micah check 1212. I just wrote this out, and right now it's, what font is this? It's not Lots of Dead Crack Babies. I'm telling you, it's Cuber Plate Gothic Bold. I'm going to take this font, right-click, and make it outlines by hitting Create Outlines. So now I just have curves, right? I'm going to export it. You might be able to do save as, but I'm pretty sure export will let me do what I want to do. As a DWG, an AutoCAD drawing file. And we'll throw it on my desktop so I know where to find it. Bless you. That's real life. Options, 1 inch here equals 1 unit over there. When I import it, maximum editability, that'll work. And we'll come over here to Rhino. Let me get a top view so I don't get confused. Let's import. File, import, desktop, and then we'll choose. I want to select from all the files that are available. There we go. There's my AutoCAD file. Thinking. There we go. Here's a curve that I have successfully imported. So, like any curve, if I want to, I can extrude it. And if I wanted to do a Boolean split with a cylinder, That's also very available. This is pulling two objects, so I like that option better. Right click, gluing all these guys together. Oh, you just want to do one at a time? I don't want to do one at a time, so redo. And we'll do Boolean split like it wants me to. Split all these up. I gotta do a cutting surface, don't I? Split this surface, the cutting object. Waiting for it, waiting for it. I do have a lot of geometry built up into this Cooper plate, so it'll take faster than if it was like an aerial or something that was more generic. And through the power of movies, this thing's gonna go, oh, it's failed. All right, maybe it's just too much to take on. So just for fun, we'll do 2 letters. Or we'll just do one for the sake of time. Boolean between these two. Failed Boolean. That's always great. I don't know, something about the geometry it's not liking, and I was going to cut it so there was a rounded top to the M instead of a flat top, but you know, let's try the old school. Let's split this surface with this one. If this doesn't work, then I'm just moving on. Split failed. All right. Maybe it just doesn't like the font. Anything else I wanted to check on today? Yes, there is drawing and creating a 2-dimensional drawing. So I need to construct something with some visual interest relatively quickly. I just want to explode this real fast. Can I get a top surface? Yes. Can I rebuild it? Sure. Let's do 8 by 8 and 2 by 2. And this will allow me to pull and push. Can I turn my lasso on? Would that be okay? Does anybody remember where the lasso is? I remember using it. Select control points with the lasso, yay. I want to select these guys. Neat. And grab that lasso again. Mouse going crazy. It's okay because I can control and select those that I don't want. And bring on down. Turn that off. I don't need that surface. There's another weird ghost surface going on here. Anyway. Join it back up. There we go. Now I got one surface again. So we'll play around with this in 2 ways. One, how to do a 2-dimensional drawing. So if I want to do a line drawing in Illustrator of a 3D object, well, I mean, I could render it, but it's not going to give me the output that I want. The new Rhino will give you more rendering options like pen or artistic. The older ones don't. So if I want to pull this in as more of a vector image instead of a bitmap image, this is how I can do it. So let's say I like this view. Actually, let's pull this around a little bit. Let's say I like this view and I want to have a 2-dimensional drawing of this from this angle. I can select it, go to dimension, make 2D drawing, and current view, obviously we'll do current view. Foreview does your orthographics. You can show hidden lines if you want to. In this case, I don't. I'll hit OK, it'll process it. And if I go To here, it's made a 2D drawing. The reason why I don't have all these curves in here is because it's not rendering with shading or values, it's just using lines. Maybe not the strongest object to show. All right, let's try this again. Current view. It exports my drawing. So this can save you a lot of time if you want to do a line drawing of a three-dimensional shape instead of having to go into Illustrator and put your lines. Can you remember anything else I said I was going to come back to other than doing chamfered and radius edges? That's going to be another day. All right.